Hello. Okay, welcome back to our lesson, our daily lesson. So, let's see what the ancestors have to say. Let's see what's going on. All right, ancestors, we ask that you come in and you guide us, deliver us a lesson today, a lesson we need to learn, a lesson that will continue to serve us as we move forward with our day, with our life, with our week, with our year, our lifetime. Come through and tell us what you want to tell us. Spirit, I ask that you be here. I ask that you help me to receive these messages of clarity. Mercury, shout out to you. Thank you. Spirit guides, shout out. Thank you. Ancestors, thank you. Shout out. Goddesses, gods, guardians, angels, all loving beings. Shout out to y'all, especially our planet Earth, or Kai, new name for Earth, I've learned. Kai, new but ancient. Also easy beneath. Okay, anyways, so let's get into what's our read today. Right. Okay. You know what song just came to my head? No, how far I'll go. What's that? From Moana. I actually love that song. And I love that movie. How far I'll go. Just because I put the camera further back so the rocks went further. And I don't know, and I also feel like I'm sitting closer to the table. I just feel a little bit more like I've established a space here. And so the rocks are able to extend now the deeper we get into this conversation. And it's interesting because it's like there is like this anxiety that comes with being a reader, because it's like, especially when it's this form of reading, because you know the shapes, they are what they are, and the patterns that they make are what they are, and there's this real deep trust that you have to begin to form with your relationship with reading, because you're not sure whether you're making stuff up or not, like whether this is really what's happening or not, because you know there's not cards to say specific words or definitions where you, oh, okay, I know this is what's going on. And this is the part where, like, okay, so I'm a self-taught kind of person, but then after being self-taught, there's a point where you need to eventually learn from somebody else, get a mentor, begin to form community around education. And this is the point where I would start to look at like what symbolisms have been established within geomancy or rock divination or Ifa, because it's just like extra confirmation that your intuitive perceptions are also aligned with the language that had been written for this form of divination. And I was just thinking about that because I'm just looking at these rocks and I'm looking at the patterns, and like how far I'll go, it's because of how far the rocks went that I immediately thought that. But there's this tug between, well, was that just my logical mind making up something, or was that also intuition? Was it just because I ended up throwing the rocks far that it just went that far? But the thing about this form of reading is that everything is a part of the reading. How far I choose to throw the rocks, how I set things up so that the rocks can go a certain place. I've made more space so that naturally the rocks are going to spread out, which is in alignment, which is correct. That makes sense, that because there's more space, now the rocks would go further. But I guess sometimes alignment feels wrong or weird because you just start to question it, because you're like, especially if you're so used to feeling like you're still trying to figure things out, if something is just working and just making sense, then it's like, wait a minute, is that how it's supposed to be? Then you start questioning whether that's correct, because you feel like, you're not ready to know. You're not ready to just be in alignment. But there's this energy of it doesn't really matter. because it is what it is. It is what it is. And what I am also seeing, I'm seeing like a star, but I also was going to say I was seeing like a mountain, or like just like a really big triangle in the shape of this, in the shape of these rocks. Specifically at the top, you can see this triangle shape, though it's a little rounded, but it could also be like a star, or maybe like half of a star point. Okay, so what I just received, I asked my ancestors to give me a clear message. And what I first got was the judge, and then I got judgment. I think I got the judge first because I've been thinking about doing readings for each astrological sign for African astrology. So I think where that came from, but then, and the judge is my sign. In Western astrology, I would be a Cancer, and in Indian astrology or Eastern astrology, I would be a Gemini. But anyways, so the judge, that's my sign. So there's this energy of trust yourself, and then judgment, which was this energy of not judging too heavily, not overthinking about what the message is, but also this energy of something colossal, which is why I think that mountain imagery came up, or even just this big star. With judgment energy, there's this energy of as something, the bigger something is, the simpler it is. The more, when you think big picture, you're not thinking about all the details. You're just seeing it in its fullness. It's, I'm somebody who thinks big picture. And what I need help with is the details. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I'm someone that thinks big picture, and what I usually need help with is the details, or focusing in, discipline, which is why I'm trying to create a routine of discipline. But here it's like, what's the big picture here, right? It's not the time to focus on all of the minute details, because this is a big image that we're getting. This is a lot of ground that we're covering. And if you try to focus too much on every single moving piece and try and discern a message, or get, really in-depth understanding of everything that's going on, you're just going to overwhelm yourself, and you're going to lose the point. The point is quite simple. The point is that it seems that we've reached this peak. Either we've reached this peak, or we're coming towards this peak, where now your dreams are beginning to be actualized or realized. Or it's like, when you get to the top of a mountain and you're looking out over you're looking at the view from this higher perspective, and you begin, for one, it's like a dream is accomplished. So there is a goal that you have been working towards that is settled now, because you've reached this peak. But it also puts the rest of your ambitions into perspective. You get to see it from a higher view, and you get to see what the real point is. Oh my goodness. And with me noticing like the points on these stars or in this mountain peak, there's this energy of identifying where is your peak, where are your climaxes, what are your points, what is your higher perspective, what are you trying to reach towards, what's the bigger picture, what's the point of it all. If all the moving pieces were removed and it was just the outline, what shape are you trying to form? What is the image you're trying to form? What is the vision of your life? What's the point? And judgment is all about that. It looks back at your life and it's like, well, what was the point? Did you do what you wanted to do? And yesterday my mom said this thing to this guy. His name is Coach Get Right. He's a trainer here. He's also Mac. in Tulum, and she was saying when she struggles to get things done, things that she actually wants to do that she knows she should do, she thinks about whether, at the end of her life, if God would, what she would say to God when they were like, well, I gave you all these gifts, why didn't you do anything with them? What would her excuse be? And it's like a funny, but it's like, yeah, I wonder what you would say. And that's kind of judgment energy. It's just kind of looking over your life and it's like, okay, let's look at everything that's happened thus far. And sometimes it's not your whole life, it's like an experience, a point when you end a karmic cycle. It's like, okay, let's look at everything that happened. Why did it happen this way? What was the point? What did you learn? Who helped you get here? Judgment is about the culmination of things. It's about the bigger picture. Remove from each individual moment, what is the takeaway? What have you learned? And what does that prepare you for in terms of what comes next? What do you want to do next now that you know what you know? You have wisdom behind you. With this star energy, with the mountain energy, there's wisdom there, deep, deep ancient wisdom that has been earned over time. It takes a long time to form a mountain. It takes a long time to form a star, and especially in the different shapes, and they change over time. These are not stagnant things, though from our perspectives they can seem pretty still, but they're not. Mountains are constantly changing over time, just slowly, like a lifetime. And same with stars. So there's this energy of, what's the bigger picture? What is the point? And maybe that is something to be focusing on right now, especially when we've been getting these readings that are talking about this journey and these shifts, and everybody feels it. Everybody feels that something big is happening, that is going to happen. There's an energy in the air. It's been felt for a very long time now. It's a long time coming. So, as we get closer, there's this energy of don't be caught off guard by this, because you're not off guard. You've actually been aware of this thing that is coming for a long time. It's like you've been on this mountain, you've been climbing. You've been on this journey to reach your dreams. You've been on this journey to ascend. You know what's coming. You know you're about to reach this pinnacle. What's the point? When you get up there, what do you want to have achieved? What do you want to feel? What is the point of it all? What's the bigger picture? I feel like that is the message. I think that's the message for today. I don't really have much to say, and I also was hoping to keep it kind of short, so I think that this is good. Let's see. And it's also interesting that it's cloudy today. Oh, I was going to say it's cloudy today, but it's actually not at all, really. It's just one cloud over the sun, but it was cloudy. And I was going to say, it's like sometimes the clouds are really great because they come in and they're like, okay, do not be distracted by the beautiful sun outside that makes everything seem bright and like clear and blah, blah, blah. You need to think, what's going on with your life? Clouds are great because they come in and they give you time to ponder. Sometimes when the sun's out, you feel guilty for thinking about anything because you just want to be out in the weather and enjoy it and revel in it. But when the clouds are here, they give you that space to just go inside and think. Same with winter. That's why winter is such a special season. It gives you a break from being so active in life and allows you to be passive enough in your physical reality to go inside and begin to really shape and understand and clear out your internal world. Figure out what's going on in there. Share your gift. Okay, ancestors, what is the final message, the confirmation? It's just this last card that you want us to learn. Past life healing. Watch your words. And patience. Past life healing came out. I could see how that makes sense. So this could be on whole that many of us are coming to the end of a cycle that had to do with past life karma and trauma that we had taken into this life. And so with this culmination, with this peak that we're reaching, part of this finalization, part of this closing and this celebration ceremony is about coming to the end of a journey with the life of before, with a life of before, from before. and allowing that to go off into the sweet, sweet night. But if we're really getting ready to let that energy go, what does that look like? How do we do that? There's this energy around making sure that your vision aligns with the words that you speak. Making sure that your vision and your expression, your audible expression, your gaze and your words are aligned. So part of reaching this peak is once you finish climbing the mountain, you're not going to still talk about life and talk about yourself as if you're climbing this mountain, right? Once you've reached this goal, once you've reached this dream, you've got to move on. You don't keep living as if you're working to reach this goal. When a mountaineer climbs to the top, they're not still talking like they're on the journey on the way up, speaking from past tense. They're moving forward now. So make sure that your words and the way that you describe yourself, the way that you describe your life and your new dreams aligns with the fact that you've completed something, that you've completed this old pattern. And make sure it aligns with your vision, and make sure that your vision is also it's in alignment with the words that you speak. So if you're speaking life into yourself and speaking your affirmations, speaking your manifestations into reality, make sure that your gaze, that your dreams, that your the visions that you have for yourself are in alignment with that. If you're saying that you are beautiful and you are disciplined and you are deserving of love, but then the way you see yourself, you're always picking yourself apart or critiquing yourself, there's a block there. There's like a clash. It's not fully aligned. And we want to reach alignment. It's like the alignment of the upper chakras right now, the throat and the third eye. We want those to be aligned, connected, because that'll naturally open up the crown, a natural flow upward. And it comes in stages. Like for me, I began with my healing journey, I began with the inner voice, and now I'm in this phase where I am working on the way I see myself, so my physical and how I interact with my physical body. So I'm doing yoga, and I'm in an environment that makes me feel good. I'm stretching my body a lot more. I'm trying to be careful with what I eat and eat what's good for me, and I'm being intentional about picking at my skin and things like that. So I went from the inside out. You can start however you want to start, outside in, inside out, whatever. But the point is that there does need to be a meeting point. And it feels like we're coming to a meeting point between these two journeys to ultimately bring it to a finality. So it's exciting, actually. It's a good thing. We're on the path. All right, so that's today's reading. I hope you enjoyed it, today's lesson, and I shall see you around. Goodbye.